Hi everyone, I'm Veer Mahajan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to easily solve two variable equations using a process called elimination. So it's called elimination because you eliminate one of the variables. So let's begin with a basic example like 4x minus y equals 3, and over here let's say that negative 4x minus plus 3y, let's say that's what we have, equals negative 1. So we can use substitution, which is a method that I've spoken about before. I made a video about it. If you want, you should also look at that video. You can use substitution to figure this out, but that might take some time, and this way is much faster, especially in this case. So over here, we notice immediately that these are the same variables, y and x, so x and y, and they also have 4x and negative 4x and 4x. And if we can add these two equations up, then these two will cancel out, and so we'll just be left with y over here and a number over here. And we can do just that in elimination. Now we can add these two equations up. So 4x minus y equals 3. We can add that to negative 4x plus 3y is negative 1 equals negative 1. And when we do that, we get 4x, this is the left side, 4x minus y plus, now you're adding this term, which is a negative 4x plus 3y. And when we do this, and let's also do the right side, so it's 3 plus negative 1. And now let's quickly simplify this stuff. On the left side, we see that 4x is equal to negative 4x. They cancel out. They aren't equal, they cancel out. So we can just remove that, both of these. And what we're left with is negative y plus 3y equals, and over here 3 plus negative 1 is 3 minus 1, which is 2. And then negative y plus 2y plus 3y is 2y. So 2y equals 2. We want to solve for y. And so when we divide both sides by 2, we get y equals 1. So let's write that over here, y equals 1. Now we've only solved half of the question, not a question but of the equations. Now we also need to find x. So if y equals 1, we can just plug that in both of these equations. And when we do that, in the first equation we get 4x minus 1 equals 3. Over here we get negative 4x plus 3 times 1 equals negative 1. And now over here we can simplify this to negative 4x plus 3 equals negative 1. And I'm just going to use, we'll do both equations, but let's do this one first. Now we can subtract 3. So we get negative 4x. You subtracted the 3, so those cancel out, equals negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. And now we divide both sides by negative 4. And so we get, I'll just write it over here, x equals 1 also, just like y. And now I said we also want to do this equation just to make sure. We can now do the same thing, so let's just erase the stuff below that. Yeah, 4x minus 1 equals 3. We can do the same thing, that's 4x minus 1 equals 3, so we can add 1 on both sides. We get 4x equals 4, which means that x equals 1. So yeah, the same thing, the same thing on both of these, which means that y equals 1 and x equals 1, and they work in both of these equations, so that's correct. But all questions won't be this simple. They won't be as simple as this, because over here we just got 4x and negative 4x. So over here we don't have like 3x and negative 3x. We can make this 4y and this negative 4y, where we can do the same thing that we did last time, add them up and get a much simpler equation. But we can't do that right away. We have to do one more step first. To make this negative 4y and to keep this equation equal, we just multiply everything here by 4. So we just multiply this equation by 4. So let's write that down. Times 4, or put a dot is also another sign for multiplication. I just do that so that it looks a bit less confusing, otherwise it will look like it's an x. so multiplied by 4, and now we get 16x. 4 times 4x is 16x, minus 4 times negative y is negative 4y, so minus 4y, equals, we also have to multiply this by 4 and we get 92. Okay, now let's see, we get, over here we have 4y and over here we have negative 4y, so we can do the same thing. We can add up these equations. This isn't really necessary, so I'm going to erase that. Actually, I'm not going to erase that because we'll need that later, so let me put it back. So 4x minus y equals 23. So yeah, we'll keep that over there right now. And now we just add up these two equations. So we get 3x plus 4y plus 4 plus 16x, we're adding this equation, plus negative 4y equals, this is a 41, this is 92, so 41 plus 92. Let's simplify this, we get 133. Over here, we can combine some like terms, so we can combine these to get 19x. These two cancel out, so 4y and negative 4y just cancel out, which just leaves us with 19x, and I'll move this a bit closer, equals 133. Now we need to, we aren't solving for 19x, we're solving for x, so we can input it over here. So now let's write this equation over here, 19x equals 133, divide both sides by 19, and we get x equals 7, because 7 times 20 would be 140 and it's 7 less than that, so it's 133, so x equals 7. Again, this isn't the full, we haven't solved the entire thing, so we still need to do a bit more. Let's erase this, make some space. Now we need to solve for y. So we can input x equals 7 into these two equations, these original equations, and when we do that, I'll also erase this, we have no need for it now. We get, the first equation becomes 3 times 7 plus 4y equals 41. The second equation becomes 4 times 7 minus y equals 23. Now we can quickly calculate, so this, let's again make this line, 21 plus 4y, because we multiply 3 and 7, equals 41. And on the bottom, 4 times 7 is 28, so 28 minus y equals 23. Now we have a few more steps to do and then we'll have an answer. Let's subtract 21 from both sides in this first equation. So I'm just going to draw a line over here and do that over here. 21 subtracted from both sides just leaves us with 4y on the left. We subtract 21 from 41 to get 20. And we can immediately do the division. 4y divided by 4 equals y. 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So y equals 5. Now we've gotten an answer, but we should also check it over here to see if it's correct. 28 minus y equals 23. So we can subtract 28 from both sides. Subtract 28, negative 28. And now we get negative y, because we have these cancel out, equals 23 minus 28. That's a negative 5. And beyond, this is, it's not negative 5. We're solving for y, not negative y. So we can multiply both sides by negative 1 or divide them both by negative 1. We'll get the same thing. And the negatives will just go, which will goes y equals 5, which is the same as over here. So yeah, x equals 7 and y equals 5 over here. And that's basically how you can change them a bit, just so you can get your answer. And I hope this was a good introduction to elimination for you. Hopefully it will help you a lot if you're ever solving equations. Thank you for watching. Bye.